what you did for the first draft was to take last year's District 21-22 annual goals, and there were 5 buckets, and we'll have 5 buckets again, but based on the Chief School Administrator evaluation, where we went through and identified some of the areas that we could, do more on. You added several statements to some of these.
Sure.
And so that's what the first draft is.
Right. We changed a couple of goals, theme goals, and then we kept 3 of them, and we added some statements that would just, again, what the board would like to see as a charge for me and the administrators and the district to move toward. And those 5 buckets were mental health advocacy, number 1, number 2, diversity, equity, and inclusion, number 3, safest schools, and that was safe schools was a theme last year, but it was more returning from COVID. This is the safe schools in general for safety. Number 4, the bucket is non-college bound learners, and number 5 is continuing the use of technology, which is in our faces every day. So,
Dr. Connors, just out of curiosity, you're now electing to do a strategy workshop with NJSBA, because many of the board members, they've never done this, and that was a great tool because you had a field rep that took everything out, showed you how this works, putting it together, the verbiage, and bringing other districts along with it, and current policy, so you can kind of see how you streamline it. It was a great time for the board members to also, it wasn't long, it was maybe 4 hours on a Saturday or something, whatever, get fed, but you really got to see the process. Paper, pencil, everyone got a chance to put in and implement it, and it became really strong, as opposed to just seeing a comment, here you go, like it, and then go. Like, you had more value because you had more input in it, and many people here have never done that.
Well, I think what you're referring to, Mr. Johnson, is the strategic goals. There are New Jersey school boards facilitated sessions to do that once every 5 years. If you look up in our boardroom, what we've done is that the big umbrella is the mission statement for the public schools. The second is the 2019 to 2024 strategic goals, which were put together the way that you described. But the next set, these are specific annual district goals based on our evaluation of how the district is doing in addressing these issues. So that one has never been done the way that you're referring to with New Jersey school boards. And then the last one was our own goals. And so every year since I've been around, we've tried to put them all on one piece of paper so that you can see the connection. But you're absolutely right. My recollection is it's for the 5-year strategic goals.
No, that is accurate, but the reason it's done that way because each set of board members comes in to a set of rules that was dictated for people that weren't even here now. And if they're going to be here for an extended period of time, they want to align it with its current and up to date. So yes, usually they'll come in if they ask you to say, hey, we want to get this set up, how does this work? And then everyone here can actually, because I'm leaving, I'm done. So once November comes, I'm out of here. I want all of you to stay strong because there's a lot of great dialogue that comes through here. And we have the tough conversations. That has to continue because you have to grow. And you're aligning it to things that are people that are no longer here. Thus, our reason, you don't have to. It's okay to, send an email and say, here, but if you want to stick your teeth in it, and really, Ms. Smith came along with, moving forward along with financial literacy, researching HBCUs and driving that force, looking to energy efficiency. Like I can go through all of you, and all of you have a component that you really want to push forward. Food service, economics, academies. Those have to be aligned to what you're doing now, not what someone did 5 years ago or 4 years ago.
So what I'm hoping, Mr. Johnson, is when we go to the conference in October, that it is filled with information that will help, answer a lot of, and guide you. because all of the training I've done has been really eye-opening, especially, coming in with a different perspective. So my hope is that in October, that I will be enlightened and, get the tools needed to, do the job correctly.
That's good. No, all of you are doing an excellent job. Only reason I mention it because we pay into the service. Why not utilize the service? Because, hey, that's their job. And like I said, it's very quick. It's really a good chance to sit together. And I know Tom wants to move towards book clubs and bringing some more unity together with the board and getting them more aligned. That's a really great start. But either way, it's okay with me.
It's a good point.
Any other new business?
Yes. I was referring to Mr. Oliveira in terms of transportation. One of the cohorts that, I've been very strong about throughout my career here is speaking up for the little guy. And usually it's special education. That's true to my heart. They're generally off to the corner, not thought about. They're in the, and they require a lot of service, but they don't really have a voice. One of the concerns that many parents have been talking about, if Piscataway can look into an after-school program for all of the special education students here. And the reason I asked you about transportation, because generally, if we move them all, let's say, to the high school after school, let's say a program that's 2 to 5, it doesn't have to have much instructional, but it gives that parent of special needs student an opportunity to have a place where they know their student is housed, where they can get to, because normally they have to take off of work to get there at 2 o'clock. They're being the parent and teacher at home. Same thing. We did a great job here during COVID, but it was very horrific for parents to try to work at home, watch their student, and then try to help the teacher with OP, physical therapy, and all those things at home. So I know that's a big component for our special needs. If we can at least look into the possibility of having an after-school program for our special needs students, and mostly we're talking about maybe with multiple disabilities, things of that nature. And maybe locating them at the high school for extended period. Even if I thought parents even if they had to pay an extra fee for the transportation, that's why I was asking if the routes weren't really done yet, maybe they can consider that into the price.
I'm thinking more like a respite, and then recreational,
Yes.
trips and.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be trips.
No, I'm just thinking like community-based instruction.
Right. I'm thinking more of it's a gifted and talented. We're framing it as that. Like your student matters to us as well. And a lot of times they don't get the opportunities to do that.
Maybe having some of the high school clubs,
But, anything.
mentoring and
I don't want to add an extra
volunteering.
expense, but I think it's a great way for a lot of our students. When we see our students that are multi-disabled, our children adjust better than the adults. You can have a student that's autistic in the room, the students will react better than you have a kid with epilepsy. The students will know what to do. Don't worry, sit there, we'll calm his head. Don't get excited. They adjust more than the adults. And those students need a least restrictive area where they can be with and have more opportunities to be with other students. And I just thought it would be a great gesture because no district really does that. We'd be paramount on doing something that no one has ever done. So this leads to consider it. I don't know how to frame it yet. I haven't sunk my teeth into it, but I'm more than willing to. That's my last driving force before I'm out of here, working for that cohort.
Well, you got a team member here as a special educator that thinks that it is always important to offer more services. I know as the fiscal guy that Tom is, trying to balance all that fiscally is probably quite the undertaking, but it's something to be explored.
But Ralph, also the special education students are being transported as part of their IEP for the most part. So therefore, I don't think it would be an additional cost because you're going to take away special home drop-offs and you're just going to drop some at the central location at the high school. So I don't see where there would be an additional cost absorbed.
Well, if you have to then bring them home from the high school, that's an
But
extra,
see, it would be
yeah.
on the parent
Yeah.
to pick them up at that point because
could be,
you're now
yeah.
saying,
Yes.
okay, get them to the high school. In addition, get staffing there to get them back on more buses to transport them home. I think a parent be more than willing to say, okay, I can get them from the high school if you get them there.
definitely. And what really drove this, as a social worker this year, I had a one-to-one with a student in a wheelchair, and his one-to-one was constantly be moved to cover classes. And so developing that relationship with him, I just saw how many missed opportunities he had, and also losing mobility because you didn't do so much. So many people did it for you. When he was accustomed to pushing, he was like, no, do that, let's go. Meet with people, and his students loved it. You know, we had to train the students, and like, all right, liability, but we can help us take it to the bathroom. Don't have to wait here until I get here. You know, so that really drove it home for me that they're missing on opportunities, and I saw the person become inclusive, you know, and become an introvert when he was really, you know, out there. That's all for me. Thank you.
Is there any other new business anyone wants to bring before the board?
I have one question.
Oh.
That's not, I don't know if it's new business or not. April 22nd, what is that? Am I the only one who don't know what that holiday is? No. What is it?
That's the Muslim.
That's the 18th, that's the final meeting when you eat.
Oh, okay.
18th.
All right, okay. That's after the fast?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's when we break the very last fast for Ramadan.
Okay.
We break the last meal.
Okay, all right.
But it's on a Saturday, yeah.
Yes.
The last item is item 21, adjournment.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
All those opposed? Meeting is